of pain.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Ten seconds remaining.
Death Prophet.
Haven't seen it a whole lot, but we've seen it banned a few times in the second phase or sometimes the last pick. Because a lot of teams prioritize their mid players, so they're never going to pick like their mid within the first 2 phases. They want to make sure they get an ideal matchup.
So traditionally, Sven was kind of picked at times as like a counter to DP, because the Warcry is just so good against the Exorcist.
Yeah, I would say that Sven is still pretty good here. The one downside is that prior to getting BKB, he's going to eat a lot of disarms from the Oracle. Because there's not really anyone else on Team Spirit that you look at and you say, okay, I care if you hit me. It's more about, I'm going to disarm you, you're going to have God Strength on and not be able to hit anything. Plus, they also have BKB lockdown and the Spirit Breaker. So I think that on paper, Sven is good against DP and Lycan, which is accurate, but I think M19 also have ways of dealing with it.
All right, let's see how the lineups unfold. Heavy push from M19, much more about hero killing and team fighting from Spirit. Both teams finished 7-2 in the group stage. Came in strong yesterday, but did flop a little bit against Vega and Empire respectively, so can bounce back here. It is a best of 3 elimination match. The winner will be moving on and has to potentially, if they want to run the gamut, they have to win 2 best of 3s and a best of 5 to get to TI. So for either of these teams, it's a long road, Andy.
I mean, this is, at the rate it's going right now, going to be the highest prize pool ever for a TI. Which I guess is the same thing you could say every year.
Yeah.
But
it's crazy in some regions like North America, you know, NP squeaked in with 1 BO1 win more than Freedom in a tiebreaker, and then you've got other regions like EU, CIS, where you've got to run the gauntlet of best of 3s just to have a chance of getting there. So over in Europe, we of course had Secret make it through. Probably the one team that I think most folks felt were a lock to get in. Indeed they did in the safer, more comfortable route.
it's very impressive in a round robin to be able to win. I think NP were, what, 8-1?
They were 8-1, and then they had lost to Freedom, the team they were tied with, but the tiebreakers were broken by playing extra games. So they played 1 more BO1. So they ended up technically 1-1 against Freedom, but they had the better record. So
The dream.
all right. So looking at our lanes here, it is going to be fairly standard, like in safe lane for M19, running the Death Prophet mid. Spirit Breaker will be roaming around, and NP as the offlaner. Funnick going to be playing that Nature's Prophet early, and I mean probably the hero to keep an eye on along with Spirit Breaker here from 19. Over on Team Spirit, you'll have a DK Phobos offlane Batrider. It is going to be that support clock, as Iceberg will get a very tasty D ward early in the mid lane. Well played by FNG, gets his own lane ward down now, and that does leave your safe lane Sven in the hands of BZZ.
Really curious about how the laning phase is going to go for that team. I think that every game that I've seen them play, they always want to win their lanes in every single game. I've never seen a matchup where they pick more kind of like team fight oriented heroes. If they do, it's usually Funnick's hero, like a Tidehunter I think we saw the other day.
Yeah, that sounds right.
A majority of the time it's just like, we want to crush it in the laning phase.
Now, does this draft strike you as a lineup that will crush it in the laning phase?
I think the Nature's Prophet will do pretty well, because even if he can't lane against Manscore's Witch Doctor and BZZ on the Sven, he can always just go jungle. And Witch Doctor is not known for being a great roaming hero. It's more just about how frustrating he can be for heroes like Lycan and Spirit Breaker, who are often going to be going on the same target. And the cast can bounce between the 2 melee heroes and act as an incredibly strong disable. But other than that, he doesn't really deal well with freeze either.
Now they're going Phobos here early with the Howl coming out. TW getting some good harass in, but not able to get the kill just yet. Only level 1 on these heroes. Meanwhile, they are dual laning on Nyx. FNG putting the harass out early as the clockwork, so trying to secure this Queen of Pain's lane, and it's working so far. She's already 6-3. Now getting cogged up. FNG. Only the cogs in tower range, not the hero, so well played by him. Early harass. Meanwhile, top lane, Funnick. Not CSing very well, but is getting his early experience, so just sacking the Bat Rider, focusing on mid and top for Team Spirit. M19 doing the same with their defensive tri-lane and not giving the DP any help as of yet.
I don't know how they can help it really. I mean, SB doesn't, if he charges, doesn't do much.
Blink forward with the Queen of Pain. Aggressive play from Iceberg here. Gets that Shadow Strike out. It's going to force him on his heels. So you feel like their options to assist the DP mid are quite limited?
Yeah, I mean, if Misha charges, it will probably stop FNG from like walking to his high ground, like completely zoning him out. My god, actually mid is going so bad. This is 12-7 versus 2-1.
Death Prophet used to be known as a lane dominator, but this is not giving her a fair crack at, you know, reclaiming that mantle. That's for sure.
Well, I guess he can recover via pushing once he gets to his level 6. He still managed to get level 3 before Iceberg, so in the experience department, he's not too far behind as the range keeps dying.
Just pretend these CS don't exist.
Yeah, just ignore the CS.
There's nothing good there. Nothing positive from Mr. Nyx. NG moseying in, gets that pushback with the cogs. Looks like they are setting up. Teleport is available. Misha moving into position. Doesn't have the charge mana yet, but he's close. Maybe they could try and go on FNG if they can bait him in, but there's no point in Sprout just yet for Funnick.
This is ours.
So it'll have to be a pretty deep dive by FNG if they actually want to try for a kill.
They also need level 2 on the SB. I think you need Bash if you're going to try to go for something like that. He has the Orb of Venom already, so...
FNG is wrapping around here. Okay. Everyone sees each other. Still with that hill ward, so... The positioning is known as FNG gets the cogs off. Queen of Pain blinking in. The Prophet TP maybe could come, but it's not going to matter. Nyx is denied by Misha. Good save there. Yeah, Funnick was in the lane, so if he had gone for a teleport, Team Spirit would have canceled it immediately anyway.
That was a nice play for Misha. At first it looked like he was kind of blocking him because he went for the charge stun, but having the presence of mind to be able to get the deny on the Shadow Strike.
I like that move by Team Spirit too, even though the Spirit Breaker's there, they're really not afraid to commit anyway uphill. They know the Clockwork Quap combo is just very strong at this point.
Yeah, SB is not really that scary to a clock either. They're pretty tanky, right?
Stormbolt top, moving in onto Funnick. He's going to teleport back to the fountain immediately, so takes a little bit too much rest for his liking. 23-17. Lane secured.
This is definitely a problem.
And Clock is still doing very well in the level department as he's leeching a little bit from the Quap, but with all these denies, she's right there with the Death Prophet, actually leading now in the experience department.
So I'm wondering like where the Prophet's going to actually come in and start to have some influence. Because I feel like if he TP's mid, he doesn't really have a good target to go on. They're going to need like the SB to chain bash somebody else on the stage to get a kill.
Ambush sprung, they're going to swing around into Funnick top lane, T-Spirit looking for the early takedown on the Moon Lord, and they'll get him too. First blood to Vank score. Juicy kill for the Witch Doctor. That secures his boots. Yeah, I mean, it's either that, Andy, or it's just pushing. You know, just TP bottom, pressure the safe lane. Maybe that's the play for the Nature's Prophet, but...
It's still hard, though, because they can't... I guess they can pressure DK Phobos, but I don't know if they're going to be able to kill him. He can just Firefly under the tower, and then, like, the push is going to take a really long time. It's not as if Funnick is being completely zoned or anything.
It's more, you see your team losing mid, you're not really able to kill bottom. You'd like to be able to make a play somewhere.
Yeah.
Where...
Maybe they just charge the Witch Doctor.
Maledict is online now. They're going to move on to Funnick. Doesn't have to teleport. Doesn't have the TP scroll either. He goes for the Sprout. That almost ends up hurting him. Gives BZZ a chance to get a little closer. The Maledict, not enough to take him down, but might force him to shine up. Going to have to tap that relatively early. This mid lane is being salvaged now with the departure of the Clockwork. 19-3, 20-3 on your Death Prophet, so... All things considered, Nyx getting back into the game fairly well. As you see Misha diving bottom lane, gets picked off. Was in a bit too far, and FNG, again, the roaming Clockwork. making plays around the map. He's looking for more. They're going to dive onto Muriel here. Doesn't have boots yet. Doesn't have windlays. Easy catch for FNG. Cogs come through. Muriel going to get slowly roasted. The rotation from Funnick. Maybe enough to turn this around. Not dead just yet. 4 napalm stacks. 1 more auto attack gets the kill. And Phobos now looks to retreat. They'll lose FNG as the trade, but if he can get out, still a good win for them. Forcing teleport from the NP. And only so far a 1-for-1, but that might become a 2-for-1 now. He buys the teleport scroll. Goes for the TP out. Bash. No bash.
I don't know if that Sprout was the play. His Firefly wore off and they saw it before he went into Fog. It kind of like blocked their pathing and forced him to walk all the way around. Maybe if Misha gets another auto attack, could have been a bash. Might have canceled the TP, but we will never know, unfortunately, as DK Phobos manages to get out. So, all things considered, Team Spirit doing pretty well. The DP will eventually recover. It's just a matter of having time in the lane where you're not just being camped by this support clockwork. FNG's done way more in the early game than you would have expected, I think, in this scenario.
So, we'll see Misha shrining up here with Nyx. Looks like we have a moment. Like, heading towards the mid game. For M19, what is the game plan? It looks like a pretty heavy push lineup. Do they just start running at towers? Do they wait for certain timings to go?
I think that it's really important for them to get some tier 1s before Phobos has Blink. Because if you're pushing into tier 1s and the bat already has Blink Dagger, it makes that push just that much more difficult. Whereas if you get the tier 1s off the map, you restrict a little bit of the vision and control from Team Spirit first. Then at least you're getting something before that timing comes out from the bat.
Okay. Well, let's see if he gets it. It looks like he might be queuing up at drums initially, but Blink will be delayed, obviously, if he goes for that, so... See? The Lycan back to the jungle, level 6 already. He is going for that Mask of Madness. Denied! Haven't really seen any deviation with the Lycan build. It's pretty much always the Armlet Mask of Madness, and then it can kind of vary if you go straight to KB, you get like the Assault Cuirass next, the Basher, the Halberd, but hold that thought bottom lane, big charge coming from Misha, pops the Fairy Fire, not going to be enough, will end up going down, another rotation for FNG, catch out Misha, gets the Battery Assault, locks onto the Spirit Breaker, the Quaff looks for a bit more, finding Funnick in the tree line, wanting to finish him off here, the cast came through, or will come through now I should say, from Bankscorn with that, gonna probably get this Funnick kill, Iceberg, a little more damage required, the deny is there again for Muriel, 2 denies this game for M19, really salvaging a lot of these fights, a double kill now secured by Nyx, as Iceberg moves onto him, no points in the silence yet, but does have the Spirit Siphon charge coming through, now the follow-up, Space Cow on the move, he's gonna find Iceberg, plows through him, Team Spirit now turned on their heels, eat the Lantern, Misha says, a triple for Nyx, pretty much the dream Death Prophet team fight.
That 204 build just paid dividends. Alright, Misha, going a little ham here. Alright, he's got 6 charges. He's looking good. That was like the best case scenario for M19s. Like, okay, they didn't get the tower. So maybe getting the tower would have been icing on the cake, but...
That was actually a full team wipe over the course of...
They killed everyone.
Wow.
So the use of the Exorcism, not getting objective, but getting a ton of kills. I think that's more than okay for the first use, especially since the Bat is one of the heroes who died. We talked about the importance of getting those tier 1s before his Blink Dagger is online. So taking him down, giving yourself a little bit of breathing room before you have to worry about that DP getting pulled out of position. I mean, I guess you still have the Oracle, right? But it is nice to have the luxury of knowing that he doesn't have that item.
Amazingly, even after a triple kill, this Death Prophet is 1,000 gold down on the enemy Queen of Pain. Still struggling a bit in the net worth department with only 28 CS, but...
Yeah, but Iceberg's first, like, team fight that he went to, it was a complete disaster. Like, I don't think he had full mana because when he didn't use Sonic Wave.
Yeah. And he was around for a while. Actually, that's how he died, was he stuck around so long that Spirit Breaker was able to heal up, come back in with the charge, and catch him as the DP brought him low. So Lycan gonna retreat to the jungle now. We'll see Muriel getting a lane to farm in. Wants to get that false promise as quickly as possible. And M19 so far, pretty content with the way things have developed. We're going to see a double bracer pickup on Funnick. The drums have been quite popular in the NPs, as you mentioned. Interested to see if he goes that route, or if he considers something less conventional. But still leaving it kind of open-ended with these items.
He's got 2 bracers right now, so I don't know if he's actually going Atos, or if he wants to make one into drums.
I don't know why you get the second one then.
It's a little strange, but I mean, I guess Atos Prophet doesn't sound completely awful. It's good against Queen, pretty good against Batrider. Because the
Dire's
heroes,
top
they really
tower
want to be
is
mobile in
under
the
attack.
fights, so you can like A-toast him if he goes in too fast. But I think it's more likely just going to be a casual
Radiant's
racer.
middle tower is under attack.
Barrier.
Oh yeah. These towers are going down now. M19, they'll take the tier 1 top.
They still have
They
Exorcism,
have
too.
Exorcism, yeah. They can go for at least the tier 2. Maybe even slightly threaten that tier 3 tower. Team Spirit will have a glyph.
Radiant's middle
M19
tower
are
is
grouping
under
up. They
attack.
are going to have false promise for this push as well. So with no Batrider blink, there's really no way he can get off a good lasso.
Oh, this tower is
Top
done.
is under attack.
This is a don't look at it moment, because
under attack.
you're not even going to...
It's ugly.
Radiant's
Just
middle
get out of
tower
there.
has fallen.
Team Spirit trying for the trade here, as Iceberg will take the tier 1 down mid, but a tier 2 for a tier 1, not the ideal trade scenario.
Dire's
Still
top
half the
tower
duration
has
of this
fallen.
Exorcism left as she will be TPing onto mid. Nick's gonna do a bit of farming and pushing there. Nice charge comes. We'll connect on Iceberg, but not a whole lot of follow-up as the Wolf starts morphing. It's gonna take about 4 auto attacks to kill off Vayne's score, even with the Prophet ult. Not quite enough damage, so like a shapeshift, a bit ineffective there. And in the end, he will settle on a medallion.
Huh.
That's kind of interesting.
I mean, it makes sense if your goal is to snowball. It synergizes with the lineup, it's good with Death Prophet. I think in the past we actually saw a lot of Death Prophets go Yules into Solar Crest. That was a very common build. Because DP normally, before the item was created, she had a really hard time itemizing because you didn't have something that gave you armor that was cheap to buy that basically wasn't a blade mail. That was like the only thing. Or a casual plate mail, I guess. But it just doesn't feel nice to buy that item.
Dire's middle tower is
Ideally,
under
as a Death Prophet, you want to have items that can scale a little bit better into late game.
Right.
And the Blade Mail, especially if you start to fall behind, you just kind of feel like a dead end that doesn't really
Dire's
offer you
structures
much
are
utility.
fortified.
So M19 are looking to siege early here. That Death Prophet is going to be working on her Yule Scepter. And they do group up. They don't have the Lycan right now. Currently farming Ancients, but still the pressure quite large with the Howl level 4 already coming out. Tower deny by Iceberg, not going to happen. Tough to do that against the bonus damage of the
Radiant
Howl.
structures are fortified.
There's a hook shot online.
Radiant's bottom
See if
tower
FNG
is
wants to
under
make something
attack.
happen. Wrap you around through the river. But already the opportunity is gone as M19
Radiant's
backed off to the
bottom
safety of their
tower has
shrine.
been denied.
He might end up finding someone, but he has been scouted here. There's a Radiant Ward just freshly planted. And FNG walks straight into a silence and the Spirit Siphon. Surprise! Down he goes. Iceberg, too late to assist.
Yeah, that was a very fast reaction from M19. I think it's actually quite a difficult clockwork game during the mid stages because you have this
Dire's
Oracle
bottom tower
who can
is
make the
under
target that
attack.
you cog completely immune to most of your damage, and then you can just false promise them and heal them. Whereas most of the time when you're playing clock, you isolate that one hero, especially as a support. Most of the time you just think you're going to kill that hero. But Oracle, he's actually quite strong against clockwork as well.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
And really until the spend gets farmed is pretty much all magic damage from the Team Spirit squad. So that Oracle will have a lot of utility. As M19 group up, bottom lane they look to push, want this early tier 2 tower. Squad of 4, still, actually all 5. Just Oracle sitting very far back. Still no sign of a defense. Team Spirit are hemorrhaging
Yeah,
territory at this point. That's all but one outer tower mowed down.
they really kind of lack the frontline wave group they need to make sure that M19 can't just walk up to buildings and hit them like this.
Radiant's middle tower is
Already
under
the
attack.
charges come and they're looking to cut off this Queen of Pain.
Dire's
With
bottom
an extra
tower
bash,
is under
another
attack.
strike. Could maybe try for Iceberg. Might be the easiest kill though. And in the end they will decide to back down. So M19, they have been dewarded out. That observer that gave them the jump on the clock last time won't be there, and that means Visha caught up by the lasso and the hook shot. Still the Spear Breaker stands his ground. He's healed up by the Oracle, kept alive by the false promise. Now FNG in trouble. Angry Cow charging forward right into the flame break, decides to turn. He stays alive for now and will end up surviving through this. Gets the super duper long range stretch Armstrong another strikeout, and will find a kill off of that, but he eventually will pay as Iceberg turns and unwinds with the Sonic Wave. So a 1-for-1 there. A lot of big ults expended on both sides. Exorcism currently cooling down, but this will not stop M19 from pushing elsewhere. The Solar Crest complete. See Funnick off to the top lane. He's gone for the health talent, so this is a mega tanky Nature's Prophet at this point.
Yeah, I like his build a lot. The two bracers make a lot of sense when your next item in progression is going to be armor. So he's like boosting his effective HP as fast as humanly possible. He could still go back if he wanted to for the Atos, but it looks like he's going to go for the Force instead. So more of the utility. I'm going to help my team push Nature's Prophet. It's a really solid build. Also allows the DP to go for something else. She doesn't want to go for the Solar Crest herself. Wants to get just some more raw health. Because in team fights, the Prophet can just Solar Crest the Death Prophet as well. And then basically you're at a stage where you're allowed to build a lot of raw HP, and then you also have the Solar Crest anyway from your Nature's Prophet. Roshan just being murdered here. There's not really much Spirit can do about this.
Oh, you poor thing. Roshan, a lonely soul. People just come in there and beat the crap out of him, steal his heart, and walk away. Must be a tough life being Roche. Also, maybe a tough life being Iceberg at this rate as he gets charged. Nether Strike? No, not going to happen. Meanwhile, the Dire Courier did get sniped by Nyx. Not often you see
that was
Death Prophet going for that type of play. It might cost him though. Trapped out. He gets off the Yule Scepter. It's going to keep him alive for a bit longer. Now LTW comes in, but no, Aegis down very quickly. Can they kill him the second time? That's the real question. Nyx being focused here by BZZ. Nobody helping this Death Prophet, just walking back on her own, completely isolated. The late teleport comes out from the Nature's Prophet. The charge comes through far too late to save the Death Prophet. That's a mega kill streak ended. Really unsure what the rest of the team was doing. The Oracle did get picked off, and now Funnick trying to make it out of here. He will survive, but a quick trip goes the way of Iceberg. One way or the other, they were not on the same page. Either the Death Prophet shouldn't be there, or the team should be helping her, but neither happened.
The team was split up. Like, some of them were on the Shrine, the DP was mid. Regardless, it is something that you can't really afford to make those types of mistakes too much, especially considering they got an uncontested Roshan. Like, Team Spirit didn't even look at the Roche pit. They flared it, and they're like, we're not going to be able to stop this. It's fine. So, when you get, like, gifted something like that, and you don't even get damage on the tier 2 in the middle lane when you have all of your ultimates off cooldown, that is, like, major miscommunication. That's not even a small thing. That's like...
It seemed like Nyx, didn't have to use Exorcism for Roche and is just thinking, all right, we can go take a tier 2, maybe even friend high ground, and let's do it right now. And the rest of the team's like, all right, we just finished Roche, let's, go get some wards down in the jungle, regroup, maybe find a pick first, then we'll go. And Nyx just found himself very far away from the team all of a sudden. But yeah, as you said, major miscommunication. They lose a lot of momentum off that, and let's see, Nyx is quite killable if his Death Prophet is not behind him. At least at this stage. Misha gallops in. Is going to find BZZ. Huge opportunity here if he can lock onto this Fenny. Is going to get that initial charge off. Now the Sprout comes through. Pushed back by the Nether Strike. They get the Spirit Siphon on him, and they lock him down. Courtesy of the Oracle, they will find the kill. Looking for more as Nyx lurches onto the high ground. Wants a piece of Fang Score. Even forced to use the Shrine. Not able to save himself with that. 19 make it 2. And now right where they pick up right where they left off. Straight under the tier 2 tower. They will be locking down this Team Spirit side of the map. No outer towers remain. They might even try to chip away the tier 3, but the Exorcism is going to be ending soon. They don't have the Aegis. Have to be careful not to overstay their welcome. Phobos, no blink yet, but he is close. Only about 300 gold to go.
Man, their team fight is just so strong. This Sven really needs BKB, or he needs a blink to be able to get into the fight and just get his damage out of the hero. Team Spirit are also very close to Blink Dagger on the Bat Rider, so 200, a little bit less than that for DK Phobos, and he'll be able to find a target and hopefully pull it out of position before the Oracle can cast that False Promise. If that's the case, I think that Team Spirit would start to be able to take fights. But yeah, between the no BKB on the Sven and no Blink on the Bat, it's really hard for them to find proper engagements, and even though FNG had a fantastic early game, it's just so hard to play clock into these heroes. You don't have a Blade Mail, so the Exorcism will eat you alive if you try to go in. And you don't really have good synergy with Sven because your natural instinct when you hook someone is to cog. But if you cog, then you have to hit the cog to make sure that your Sven can get in, and it's a little bit on the clunky side.
And that matters a lot when the Sven is your only sustained damage in a team fight. Queen of Pain is a nice little burst, but to finish these heroes being healed by the Oracle, you really do need the Sven. Poses quite the problem here for Team Spirit. That said, though, they are still farming pretty well on that Sven, and Queen of Pain still the leaders in net worth. Offering a ray of hope heading late as Iceberg will be charged. Misha, unable to lock onto him in time. They do have their blink now. So with this blink, perhaps they can make a play happen. They'll ideally want to go straight for the Oracle or catch someone who's nowhere in the vicinity.
They have a lot of vision too, like aggressive warding. I guess one of them just faded, but... Oh, are they gonna get Iceberg? No, he's got it. He's fine. Oh, they actually had a sentry down. Okay. So the sentry saw him and then that's why he got charged, and then he had to just blink out.
Does show you M19 are a bit light on the lockdown. Spirit Breaker and a Silence of Yules, that's essentially it.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much just Misha that they need to go on this Sven. If they don't kill him in the time that he's disabled, if they're able to deal some damage elsewhere in a team fight, like get some of the other cores low or, you know, kill a support or two, it's probably okay that they're kind of lacking on the disabled department. But as soon as that Sven gets BKB, it's going to be real hard. Because he's going to come into the fight, he's going to get his blink stun off pretty much every single time. He might be disabled for like 3 or 4 seconds because of the SP, but after that he's just going to be hitting people.
M19 are threatening high ground tier. Grouping up with the Trance, they will parade in, looking for a quick lane of racks. Solar Crest deployed on that Death Prophet. Try and buffer up as much as possible. Now Batrider blinks in there. Are going to play the cogs here on Nyx. Well, who's trapped in with whom? That's the question. The Maledict comes through. He now wants to back away. M19 trying to keep the DP alive, but that is wasting some precious time in the Exorcism. Already brought the tower down to about half. A little bit less than that even. The glyph's still available. Not sure if M19 want to stick around. The Exorcism will end, and they will, seems, back away.
I mean, they got some chip damage. It wasn't the worst.
Ah, look at this. Sneaky, sneaky. Team Spirit on the wraparound. They've got the Drum Charge, Blink Dagger initiation. They might be able to find Muriel to start the fight, or even Nyx. That could be sweeter with the Oracle a bit far back. And now they make their move. They are going to find Nyx immediately. Muriel tries to go for the lasso cancel, and he gets it off with the false promise. So they won't have a strong lockdown on the Death Prop this fight. They don't have to deal with the Exorcism, but a double Spirit Siphon is filling trouble here. BZZ trapped in the Sprout, getting Arteezy, won't be able to get much done. So it falls to the Witch Doctor to do the heavy lifting. He locks on Amisha, tries to bring him down. Meanwhile, the big, bad, angry wolf has killed off 3, and he wants to make it 4 as the Queen of Pain will be locked down. The silence is not available. Iceberg blinks to the safety of the cliff. But M19, no. They know he's there. They are going to find him with the Atos. The silence comes through. The auto attacks barely clipping up the hill, it looks like. Iceberg trying to stay alive, bringing it around the hill, but and he will blink out. Barely surviving. Well, apparently they don't need Exorcism to team fight Andy.
I can't believe that went as well as it did. I think the Sven actually has a Quelling Blade. It seemed like he was stuck in Sprout for a really long time. I'm not sure what that was about. He like stood there. He was getting Spirit Siphoned while standing in the middle of that.
Yeah, I didn't actually see where the cogs were either. Maybe the cogs were kind of in his way as well. I'm not exactly sure, but
either way, he didn't have a lot of uptime. Like, he was just kind of sitting around getting punched and then eventually just fell over. That Witch Doctor had an extremely long Death Ward channel as well. It just didn't seem like he was doing that much damage.
yeah, he even got a decent Maledict off, but M19 are just very durable. When you look at their lineup, they've got 2 super beefy strength heroes. Hold that thought. Iceberg will get silenced up here, and now the pursuit is on. Can they lock him down a bit further? They got the silence off. They can drop him down to half, but he will be able to blink away. The charge is coming in. Meanwhile, Batrider also on the retreat. Team Spirit, a headlong struggle to get back to safety. Viking comes through with the Diffusal Blade. He's already used 6 charges of this thing. I think he just got it in the last fight too, but hey, it seems to be working. M19 racking up the kills and surging forward. A lot of momentum for them, and a Roshan about to respawn.
The Diffusal Blade is actually amazing against Spirit, mainly because of Warcry. Also helps you stick on your target. So you, like the Diffusal Blade, you can think of it like this. It's minus 20 armor, because you're taking off the Warcry, and you're giving yourself a lot of uptime on your auto attacks during the shapeshift.
And it's also a snare, so it's a double whammy of value.
Super good. Super good choice. I like that a lot from LPW. But overall, I still think that when you pop an Exorcism like that, and you don't really, you get a back kill, I guess, which is okay, but you're putting yourself on cooldown, you know, you're allowing the Sven to get more farm, and it's not as if BZ's farming poorly, you know, he's going to be closing in on that BKB in a couple of minutes. So there is a very strong power spike going to be had by Team Spirit within the next
They are hunting. FNG finds the hook. Great initiation by him. Gets the pushback on Funnick with the self-sprout. Keeps him alive for now. Sven moving into position. And meanwhile, Queen of Pain could be in trouble. Good blink forward. The Sven stun connects on two, but now the charge. The counter initiation. Death Ward over the top by Bankscore. Good damage. Perfect cast. Holding M19 back, but still they're a bit too tanky on some of these cores. They turn on the Sven, chewing through them rapidly. LTW has to be cogged, but the Sans is there preventing it, and it looks like the Sven has to blink. Runaway has no teleport for a full minute, snared by Nyx. Will eventually go down here. One more auto attack in the urn finishes him off, and M19 hold the line again. Already defusal level 2.
That was another fight without Exorcism. They're gonna be able to walk pretty much straight to the Roshan pit, get some mana, maybe hit the shrine. Is it off cooldown? It's actually down right now.
I mean, it should be the ideal scenario where you kill Roche, you can go high ground with an Aegis and an Exorcism ready, all your big cooldowns available. Now that is, you know, assuming that our Death Prophet doesn't just go off on a little wild journey of her own and immediately lose that Aegis, but...
That was definitely weird. I think someone made a call, and maybe, you know, one or two of the people didn't listen to it, but... Roshan going to be scouted here from the side of Team Spirit. I would expect that M19 is going to be hovering around the area.
See an extra medallion picked up here.
There's a lot
to go with
of
that
Solar
Crest
in this game.
It even, I mean, we were seeing this a bit more before that the item got nerfed a little bit. Do you think it's still this good where multiple Solar Crests, even an additional medallion is warranted?
It's amazing, to be honest. I'm pretty sure they also stack. Like the regular medallion
and the Solar Crest, yeah. I think it's like the buckler and the mech.
But yeah, I think Solar Crest is incredibly value when you're playing against lineups that do a lot of this with DPS. And M19 plus Spirit both have that in spades, so very, very good item.
It really puts pressure on Iceberg here to be the main damage dealer with all that evasion plus armor flying around. Rocket coming in just a second late. Could have almost potentially sniped the Roshan.
God, the SP has a halberd too.
Good luck, Sven.
This is becoming a very difficult Sven game. Yeah.
Is under attack.
That Sven is getting charged from halfway across the map, but Bankscore was there to interrupt him, I do believe. Did not cast, but Spearbreaker ended up manning down. Okay, double halberd now. So double halberd, triple Solar Crest. This is the Sven counter.
Yeah. I don't even know if he's going to get to attack without a BKB. I think he's just going to stand there and do nothing.
Even if he has one, there's still a Spirit Breaker. It's tough.
It is looking a little bit rough at the moment. But what we saw Spirit do when they made that pincer maneuver on bottom with the smoke, that's one thing they can continually do. They can instantly kill the Oracle, get really good damage out on another core maybe before M19 are able to react. They can potentially win a fight.
Radiant's middle tower is
This is the
under
worst
attack.
case for them is when M19 are able to get grouped up like this before they do anything. Now they're relying on the bat. If the bat finds someone, then we could see a successful defense here from
Dire's
Spirit.
bottom tower
He is looking for that opening, Phobos.
Dude, the Rex is already dead.
I mean, he's in a good position here. He can maybe draw Muriel, but he's taking a little too long as already Phobos has allowed his base to virtually be pinned down. He'll find the Oracle. The Quad Bolt actually missing Muriel. He got pulled too far out of it, and somehow that Oracle stays alive, gets off the false promise. Unbelievable. Muriel lifts Cat with 9 lives, apparently. Quap says no. I have to take this Oracle down. We'll eventually pop him, but they're diving tier 4 towers. For now, they're winning that fight. Even Sven dead. Witch Doctor forced to buy back. The Exorcism will end, and so too the Shapeshift is over, but they have finished off this lane of Rax. Now really all they have to do is get out safely before the Queen of Pain lands herself a triple kill. Going for TPs out, they're not going to be able to get them off easily as they've been cast, they've been controlled. Somehow Funnick escapes at the final moment. He survives. He ended up dying in the well. Ticked down, I think, to the Maledict. And Spirit do find 4. That was quite aggressive, perhaps a bit cocky by M19, but they got a lane of Rax.
I think they got excited when the Sven didn't instantly buy back. Because that hero does a ton in the fights, and even if he would have bought back without God Strike, you're going to see Nyx die here.
Oh, this is real bad for Nyx. He pairs the Aegis, so he dies one series, probably dying twice. The Oracle has respawn, though. Does he dare come and protect his friend? Do they make a stand around this shrine? They might try for it. The hook's there, and Muriel's going to face tank it, so he'll go down momentarily. Does get the false promise off on himself. That means no false promise for the Death Prophet, who's being hounded from all directions by the entire Team Spirit squad. They'll get that kill. They'll get the extra kill on the Oracle as well. An unfortunate time to teleport in, as it turns out.
It was a nice idea, but FNG was super ready for that. He's like, alright, you want a TP? We just get bonus kill. Easy game. They did unfortunately lose their bottom set of racks, and given the lane equilibrium right now, I don't know if Spirit are going to be able to directly answer back. They can't even get a tier 2, which feels kind of bad, mainly because Sven was dead for the majority of that, but still, BZZ, he gets that magic immunity. That's the thing about Sven. He feels extremely weak in some lineups until you get your core items, but the second you get him, even if you are behind a net worth to some of the other heroes in the game, you just go through the roof in terms of threat.
Death Ward committed here in the mid lane. They are going to try to control Misha. Nether Strike won't even get the completed cast animation off. He goes down. A series of kills as what was once like a 7,000 gold lead, Andy, is now down to just 1k. M19 have basically forfeited their entire gold advantage at this point. They had the racks down, but one lane ain't going to be enough against the Sven, that is for sure.
Yeah, you need to be careful, especially if the Queen is able to get to level 25. That is like one of the most obnoxious things in the late game. That's the talents have changed heroes like Puck and Queen so much, whereas before they just were lackluster late gamers at best. And now with the 70% lifesteal, wait, did he defuse the Yules?
Might have.
It looked like a really fast Yules.
Well, now gets another purge off onto that Free to Pain, but the cast will force LTW back. It's really running low on the diffusal charges here now. Already gone through 12 in 32 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like if they can get another set of racks with the current diffusal blade and not have to buy a new one, that would be really nice. Because then it's like you don't need to force yourself to buy a second one. Whereas, honestly, having the Purge for the Warcry in addition to having the Oracle's Fortune's End it's super value against Sven. Like that, there's not many games where I would look at Oracle and say this hero is actually doing a lot, but this is definitely one of those games.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Yeah, he
attack.
hasn't had to make too many crazy plays. Like, to be honest, Team Spirit haven't found a ton of lasso opportunities. The Sven has been controlled largely by the Spirit Breaker up until now, but that could be changing as we head towards the late game, so Oracle might need to come up big down the stretch. Team Spirit, though, have smoked up. They wrap around to the Radiant Shrine near the Roshan Pit. They get the hook initiation onto Misha, locking him in the cogs. He stays alive for now, but they are focusing him. Oracle trying to heal him up as much as humanly possible, but they lasso the Oracle, somehow trapped out again. Death Prophet getting hammered on by the Sven, but the Sprout keeps him alive, at least for now, doing the best he can, pushed away by the 4-step. The Ghosts are still going, not long enough. Daddy's home, and he is not happy with M19. This Sven is chewing them up. Stormbolt comes through, caging the Wolf. The Lycan slashed up a few times and now has lost his shapeshift. Might be finished off here. A couple more swings of that big sword, and down he should go. Even shining through it, not enough. LTW down as well. The full squad, aside from the Nature's Prophet of Funnick, wiped out at their own shrine again. And this is basically your point in a nutshell, Andy, that Sven, who's down on net worth, can still easily be the hardest hitter in the game.
10-second BKB. That's pretty much what wins you the fight. I think that the DP also Yules a little bit late. He had some time to be able to Yules before Funnick Sprout came out, but he just took so much damage. And the other thing too is the Oracle was forced to ult himself. So instead of the DP having the false promise and getting the double benefit of having like multiple spirit siphons out, which by the way is just insane. Because you're healing like 11% of your total health per second with false promise on for each application of spirit siphon. Like, that is nuts.
But he didn't get it off, to your point. So.
Well, he had to use it on himself, because he was dying, so. Yeah, the initiations from Spirit are basically what's winning them the fights, because they're forcing the Oracle into a defensive position immediately. And that's why we emphasize the importance of, if M19 are able to get to the base of Spirit, and Spirit aren't in position to, like, pincer them, then the Oracle is always able to get all his spells off on the right target. And that's the ideal siege scenario.
Well, they're not sieging now, that is for sure. M19, after a strong start and at one point nearly an 8,000 gold lead, are now down 3k. That's roughly an 11k swing for them. They'll have to find their way back into this game. Team Spirit, meanwhile, continue their own item progression. Iceberg, he's gone back for the Shivas. Goes with that Lincoln Sphere. Yules, very defensive itemization from him for the most part. But you got to figure that a damage item is in order at this point. Sven of BZZ now. Crystallis up. We'll see Bloodthorn or Daedalus coming soon. Either way, I mean, he was already hitting hard enough, it felt like last fight. Now, damage only ramps up.
Yeah, I think it's Bloodthorn. He's just gonna like slaughter people because the DP is not going for BKB. So you can like bait out the Yules, and then once he comes down, you Bloodthorn. Just kill him in like 4 or 5 hits.
And suddenly all these Solar Crests are not nearly as value against BZZ.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main reason why Bloodthorn's so good, because not only does Sven benefit greatly from the mana regen, but you get True Strike.
Radiant's top tower is under
Team
attack.
Spirit are on the hunt, pushing up, threatening a tier 2 top. This is the second to last outer tower. Team Spirit starting to lose a little bit of their map control edge that they've had for the majority of the game. They're looking for the split push here on Funnick. He's going back for a Desolator.
Radiant's
Rather
top
late
tower
at that
is
to
under
complement his
attack.
Hurricane Pike. So a good
Radiant's
potential
top
rat
tower
item
is
as he
full.
did do exactly that. TP'd in towards mid, unloaded the Treant army. Perhaps we'll see more of this sneaky type of profit play as the game moves along. But it is a sign, and at the same time, that M19 are no longer 5-manning at Spirit. They, for the most part, looking to play keep away.
Well, it's conducive to what they want. If you think of it this way, the more that Funnick split pushes and forces Team Spirit apart, the less likely it is that they're going to be able to gather together and get that smoke gank going that's been so successful for them. So if they can't smoke gank you while you're out on the map and you get across the map to their base, then you reach that kind of siege engine mode where we were talking about how M19 has a huge advantage from that position.
Oh, this next Roche is going to be so crucial for M19. And as I say that, they might not get it for free here. Muriel's already been hooked. Force Staff will bring him back out of the cogs. Well played by Funnick. Team Spirit at the same time looking to disengage. Sen moves in straight onto Funnick. Now turning back for Misha. He's not hitting his ideal target. Nyx is getting some free damage off this fight, but he tanks the Quad Bolt. The heal comes through from the Oracle. Muriel also ate that Quad Bolt. Now he's down. And Nyx doing good work, but not finishing anyone. They need a little more firepower. Vangscore on the high ground has a lot of extra armor from the Warcry. And even though the Laken moves onto him, he's not able to finish him off, so 2 get munched up. Now they're on the run. LTW finished off by Iceberg. That's a triple kill for the Queen of Pain. The Roshan awaits Spirit. And it seems like we might be getting to that point where Sven is just too good at dealing with the Death Prophet ult.
I mean, there was so much spread damage in that fight. Like, everyone on the side of Team Spirit at one point was pretty low, but they just couldn't get everything together on the same target to bring him down. And plus, the positioning of the Witch Doctor was superb. Like, Vanscore was sitting on the high ground, just dropping that Death Ward, forcing Nyx out of the fight, making the Death Prophet pretty much retreat back to his own shrine, not able to really fully utilize that exorcism. So now, instead of going for the Roche, they're just going for the straight siege. Lycan, no buyback.
They know there's no exorcism. I don't know if Spirit actually back here. We'll see as they find the lasso opening. The Oracle is able to false promise it off, and now Spiritbreaker comes in, bashing that Sven, locking him down, has the BKB, but now needs to run. Warcry scurries backwards. Funnick looks to cut him off, but is able to jump out of that Sprout. Stays alive for now. FNG also being focused on. The Queen of Pain ult comes through. They aren't focusing anyone down. The Queen of Pain survives through this, brings Misha low, will finally be snared up by the Oracle. Now the Yule's coming out, but Iceberg blinks away. They all survive here for Spirit. Even FNG dropping the zoning cogs. And M19 won't be able to punish this aggression. The Lycan TP'd in to try and cut them off, but was unable to do so.
That's still a really big victory for M19 though. Mainly because Roche. So Team Spirit go for the play that you said because they knew that they didn't have any ghosts. And if they had won that fight and taken the mid-racks, then sure, it would have been a very nice play. But it's a calculated risk by Spirit. They understand that, you know, if we don't win this fight, we are forfeiting Roche. I'm pretty sure they knew it was up when they decided to push mid.
Well, Exorcism online in 15 as Iceberg jumps in. The hit just hits the deck. The Radiant do grab it. And now Batrider comes into the fight. Will manage to grab the Lycan, drags him all the way to the far cliff, but not up it as the Death Prophet gets focused. False promise there, keeping her alive. The ghosts come out and they want to party. BZZ, though, quite tanky. He hits hard, running directly into the cleaver that this Sven has and will pay immediately with her life for it. So the Exorcism down, and now Sven Daddy looking for more, trying to finish off the Oracle. He went for the quick kill, but the TP out was a bit too fast. LTW, meanwhile, getting focused down. Team Spirit will find the 2 biggest cores in this fight. Aegis Did, who actually grabbed it there?
The Lycan died twice.
Okay, Lycan died twice then.
He basically popped a shapeshift on the first life, and then he died, and then he came back, and he didn't have shapeshift anymore. But he had G's in his inventory. He just knew that he was dead anyway, so he just saved it.
Dire's middle tower
That's
is under
pretty
attack.
concerning for M19 though. The Exorcism just does not seem to be able to get them in kills any longer. The Lycan is largely being dealt with in fights. And even with an Aegis, they're still not able to take Team Spirit head on.
They have pretty mediocre Aegis carriers if you think about it, because they're both cooldown heroes.
Dire's
So
top barracks
Death
are
Prophet
under
has
attack.
Exorcism, and then Lycan has Shapeshift. So when they
Radiant's
die,
middle tower
they
is
come
under
back and they're
attack.
just a lot weaker, basically. It's not really the ideal team to hold an Aegis, but you still want it for obvious
Radiant's
reasons.
top tower
BZZ is
is
gonna
under
go top,
attack.
blast his tower down.
Ay, ay, ay.
Top tower has fallen.
He is getting charged though. He's out quite far. The Spearbreaker wants to go for it, just barely able to connect with the charge in time. Now the Nether Strike coming through, but that's a healthy Sven, and it might be an angry one soon. Nyx joins the fray. He jukes into the trees here. The God Strain's going to be wearing off in short order, and they are able to silence him, control him, bring him down. They slay the beast, and now they look for more. FNG, though, being charged. As they head towards the high ground, they look to cut him off. Bunny gets pushed down by the Cogs, but still, they connect with the charge. The follow-up kills are there. Team Spirit getting a little bit sloppy down the stretch. This could come back to haunt them. Meanwhile, the lasso, Bunnick pulled all the way up on the high ground, and Phobos a bit isolated here. The Queen of Pain ult came through, but Death Prophet stays alive, and now with the silence is going to look to hunt this Quap down. Good damage coming out. The bash, the follow-up. No Iceberg able to blink out. They don't finish the Queen of Pain. Bunnick, meanwhile, trying to go onto DK Phobos, but Phobos is out of there. So too is the clock. M19 looked like they could have had 4 or 5 kills potentially that fight, but they just struggled to finish targets.
Yeah, like you mentioned earlier, the SV's their only reliable lockdown. If they had a Hex, I think it would be way different. Like maybe instead of going for the AC, Funnick buys a Hex, or maybe, you know, Nyx buys a Hex. They really need something else to keep the targets.
Or even Lycan gets a Basher, but
Yeah,
that doesn't seem to be on the menu for him as he's got an MKB queued up.
I don't know. It's very difficult for them to like kill the Queen, for example. That's probably the hardest target. Sven's obviously tanky in his own right.
Well,
But the big thing to take away from this is that Spirit are consistently taking the fight to M19. That's what you want to do with a cooldown-oriented lineup. If you can just bait out the ults, as long as you're not trading horribly, it should always favor you, because if you think that you have the better late game, then you're just basically delaying their push. Every time that M19 gets ran into by Spirit, they trade evenly. That's a win for Spirit, because you're always going to be popping Exorcism. You're always going to be using Shapeshift and stuff like that, so...
and they're always fighting on M19's side of the map.
Yeah,
so even if
exactly.
they win a fight, you're not getting to their base with Exorcism ready, or with it still going to potentially take that
Radiant's
second
bottom
lane,
tower
third
is
lane
under
Rax.
attack. Radiant's bottom tower
Well, they
has fallen.
did expose top lane. So the
Funnick
Raxes
was
are
ratting
vulnerable.
over in the trees, but
Pain without
backdoor protection did
consequence.
kick in. She couldn't get that range Rax.
Yeah, the idea of just constant aggression against M19 is... If you're capable of fighting, you want to, more or less.
And they certainly have proven capable. FNG out for blood, looking for more as Iceberg has grabbed the level 25 lifesteal talent you mentioned. Sven opting for the...
Visibility.
Actually opting for the Stormhammer cooldown talent, which we
Radiant's
don't really
bottom
see
tower
all that
is
often.
under
Oh,
attack.
it's so good. 5 second stun with the... Or
With
sorry.
2-second duration.
Yeah, 2 second duration, 5 second cooldown. It's extremely good. Because here's the other thing about Sven. Most of the time, the damage is over. It's about being able to reliably hit the target.
And they have pretty good late game lockdown here with that talent, as well as the Batrider always relevant into the late game. You've got the Cogs. The Lycan, no matter how many damage items he gets, doesn't really have the easiest time staying on a target. No
Yeah.
more Diffusal Blade charges, no Basher.
At one point, he was actually going to rebuy his Diffusal, but then he opted for an MKB instead.
It's the downside to Lycan is kind of like an anti-mage. He feels a little slot limited as you head towards the late game.
Yeah, you kind of have to get rid of the armlet, I think, at this point. Mask of Madness is still like crazy value, because when you go into Shapeshift form, you have a lower base attack time, which is crazy nice. That's why so many people buy the Mask of Madness on the hero.
Team Spirit are certainly the more confident squad right now, even though they may be down the lane of Rax and have another exposed. They are living on the M19 side of the map. They hold a significant net worth advantage, now up to 10,000. What do M19 wait for here? Is there something that can get them back in the game?
I still think they need the Hex. That's because the fights are always going the same way now. They get a bunch of people kind of low, but they're not able to kill anyone. And then because the fight lasts too long, you know, the Queen of Pain gets like half a dozen screams off. He's got the level 25 talent where he's stealing all the life back from whenever he casts spells.
He's also got the Actarine.
Yeah. The drawn out fights don't favor M19 at all. So they need something that's going to allow them to be able to get in, get a kill, and like brute force their way through. That's kind of what Death Prophet's ult is. It's just brute force. You're so hard to actually fight because of the damage output that you have.
M19 is making some tentative movements outside the base here. Good aggressive ward planted down. As far as gems go, there is one on Misha, so they'll be able to de-ward that. Team Spirit are still not really afraid. They continue to press forward, constantly shoving in these lanes. They've got the much better vision game overall for now, even though M19 on paper is the map control lineup. Practice Spirit have had more time to ward up the enemy side of the map. They're gonna get some good intel with this rocket.
I suppose you can just wait for a next Roche maybe. But again, M19 don't have the best Aegis carriers. It's more about making sure that Team Spirit don't get it at this point.
Team Spirit are not going to give that up for free. They have shown they are more than ready to fight at this stage of the game. So they'll shove these lanes in again. The Roshan could be up as little as 30 seconds from now. But they might not even wait for that. They see a very easy tier 3 down in mid lane, and they will get the quick kill on it. Iceberg just poking it with a single auto attack. Team Spirit stick around, just keeping the lanes in, prepping for the Roche. With how farm this Sven is, it will be a pretty fast Roche.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, this could be an opening though. Misha gets the charge, another straight combo. However, FNG puts Cogs in the right position. That is going to punish a little bit.
God.
But Sven jumps in. He fights the tier hero Stormlord, cleaving his way through both carries of M19, brings them down to half HP immediately. Nyx gets off a good exorcism, but I think the Sven's done too much. LTW already brought down below half. Low. Death Prophet dead. Make it 4. About to be 5. A full wipe on the horizon as he pops. The false promise ends. And the hope has to be completely knocked out at this point. M19 about to lose not only a late of Rax, but the game. GG instantly called. Seems they missed their timing, Andy. Spirit just outlast them.
When they went bottom, you saw how strong their lineup was at that stage of the game. They just walked in, they're like, yep,